Okay, so you're quite used to at this point, I hope, unless you, especially if you just reviewed, in solving an equation. So, for instance, this guy has an x on both sides and some other numbers, etc., etc. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. This makes this part 0. I get negative 2 equals 5x minus 3x is 2x plus 1. Now I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, so this will be 0. So I'm left with just a 2x. And so I get negative 3. And then if I divide both sides by 2, why? Because I want to make this a 1. Then I get x equals negative 3 halves. So that's an essential skill. We're glad that you are comfortable with that. But now we're talking about linear equations in two variables. So this will have two variables, x and y typically, but it could be any two variables. So for instance, if I had an equation 3x minus 2 minus 4y, the quantity equals x minus y plus 1. This is an equation in two variables. Notice that I have an x and a y and another x and a y. Now typically we're going to want to see this in various forms. We'll go over the other forms in a subsequent video, but this one we're going to talk about what is referred to as the standard form of a linear equation, and that would be ax plus by equals c. And so when I want it in standard form, I want it in this form. And so let's take this equation and write it in standard form. So that means I want all the x's on one side, all the y's on one side, and the constants or numbers on the other side. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute this negative sign or get rid of these parentheses. How do I have to take care of that? Well, you can do a whole bunch of things, but I would pretend or imagine a negative 1 being here, and I would distribute this negative 1 to both of these terms in here. So I'm not doing anything with the first term, 3x. I'm going to multiply negative 1 times 2, so that gives me negative 2. And then negative 1 times negative 4y garners a positive 4y. And I will have not done anything to the right-hand side. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to scroll up because I don't need to look at this business up here anymore, because now I'm working on this. So now I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and this results in a 2x minus 2 plus 4y equals, and this part becomes 0, so I'm left with just negative y plus 1. Now I'm going to add y to both sides, and I didn't do anything to the first two terms, so 2x minus 2, 4y plus y is equal to 5y. And this, of course, is 0. That's why I chose to add y to the negative y. And it leaves me with just 1. And now I'm going to add to y. Am I choosing to add to? So this will become 0. And so I get 2x plus 5y is equal to 3. And that's putting an equation into standard form when it previously was not in standard form. You'll run into a number of examples of that. And so that's that.